Good morning, beans. Good day. Good day to all who would listen. The label associated with this form, this physical form, being, is Roy. On that basis, I welcome you. Blue Bean Harvest, number 11, this is. Brought to you by Roy's Radio, possibly. Who knows? I don't really know what I'm doing now, why I'm doing this, what I'm going to say. I just know that, well, except for two little starting things, but I've been talking about a lot about Jewish people and a lot about black people, Aboriginal people, gay people, people that generally feel unheard and abused in some ways, many instances. So what do I want to talk about? I don't know, let's talk about love and fear. Love and fear. They are essentially two sides of the one coin. All right, this is just blah, blah, blah. So love and fear. What comes from love and fear that contributes to your perception of self? And that would be your sense of identity. Okay. So you have a sense of identity. I am this or that. Okay. So we'll just overlook, no we won't, we'll just ignore, no we won't, we'll just bypass, we'll acknowledge and bypass the notion of separation. Okay. And we'll just look at identity and how this contributes to bringing love and fear into your life. So, if you see yourself as a Jewish person, then straight away you can identify with the history of the Jewish people. And the Jewish people, even just saying the word, the phrase, the notion of Jewish people, it's very separatist, isn't it? It's over there. I'm different to you because I'm Jewish. Wow. Are you better than me because you're Jewish? Well, no. Are you God's chosen? This is what you've said. No. We're all God's chosen. We're all God. So, through identity, we create separateness. This is in our eyes, mind, heart. And all these things contribute to your extraction from everything else, because you're moving away and creating this little pocket. If you're Aboriginal and you're in Australia, same deal. It is through your inability to good. It's your inability to be one that you are that causes you to feel separate. So I want to read you something actually that I've read this morning. I think this is why I don't think this is why I've been going on about it for a while. I think this is a way in which harmony through mass integration collectively as one can bring the peace and the freedom that everyone's heart is yearning for. Yeah. So this is the way of mastery. I must say at this point, I've wanted to say this all morning. Yesterday, day before. Wow, before. All I want to do is think about the big G, God. All I want to talk about is the big G, God. All I want to be is the big G. I want to act as the big G. So, why? How can I do that? I'm here, I'm Roy, I'm not Roy. This is a physical manifestation, or manifestation in physical form, which is illusionary, of this, to be here and experience. I don't identify with this, I identify with G. Okay? I live, I die, I live, I die, I live, I die, experience. My awareness grows, and depending on the influences, when I'm very young, that sets the scene for my outlook, if you will. It paints the scene, paints the picture of my experience from which I develop my values. Okay, values. Values. What do we value? Well, we value love, and we're aware of fear. You could say that, do we value fear? If we value all things, then we understand that all things have a place perhaps and a purpose. Think about it. Without the light, we cannot become aware of the darkness. If there is no love, which creates light, then we have fear. Oh. Which creates darkness. So I have people that feel darkness towards me in my family, in my work, in my community, in my life as a Roy. Why? I don't know. People have different thoughts for different reasons. But ultimately, everything is fear and judgment based. If we look at everyone here with the eye of God, then we can see people acting in unloving ways, but we can understand how and why, because we can truly see the fear inside them that causes this outpouring. I witnessed this over the last few days in my family get-together, and very harsh, a couple of instances, some extremely harsh reactions that each were completely, totally unnecessary, unwelcome, unwanted, and certainly unloving, and 100% full of fear. And that fear had transferred into frustration and anger and was verging on hatred and violence almost. It was on the cusp. That was the level of the intensity that was reached in an instant. And the reason for that is because there is no allowance or acceptance. Why are these important? Well, they're important because as you look about here and you see the wonder of divine creation, then you can understand that separation as we draw apart, increase the gap between the difference of that which is unloving and that which is loving. And we can see very easily yes, we can see very easily. So let me read from this book. So Joshua Ben Joseph writes here, and understand, please understand that, you read this and truth is evident on every page. Simplicity is evident on every page. Love is evident on every page. And I can open randomly and find something that I haven't seen in the literal sense of awareness before. So I reread. This is something I've read this morning. The mind that rests in freedom has learned to transfer trust and loyalty to love. The mind that has come to enjoy the peace that comes with only loving. For what harm can come to the mind that simply loves, who looks upon all things and sees its perfect innocence and plays in the kingdom provided by that one's Father? The kingdom of the body-mind, the kingdom of space and time, the kingdom of the power to choose love over fear. This is why I suggest a simple thought. Suffering comes from being identified with form, whether it be the body, a belief, a career, or a context of experience of any kind. For all experience comes and goes, and liberation and deep peace comes from being identified with content. So, your associations, every association, and I do mean, just understand, there's a big, some people choose to be very loud in the sense of who and what they are. There's a senator that we know acts like a child. Yeah, she's incredibly immature in the sense of awareness, maturity, awareness. There is no awareness in this woman. And I'm not dissing her, I'm just making an observation that I think it would be wise for that woman to extract herself from these situations where she feels it necessary to go blah, 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 and project, stamping her feet, taking the mics from people. You know who you are, and other people know who I'm talking about. But you should reflect on self and then give an example to others to be loving and embrace everyone else in the chambers of the houses that you walk in with love and respect and trust. Trust that they will do according to themselves. There's a different type of trust. That's a trust for everyone. Trust that everyone in your awareness will do the things that they do, born of heart, mind, soul. Yeah? So, when we know this, that people will do the things, we realise that it's up to the individual in every instance. Let's take, look, the people that I know have feelings of animosity towards them, towards me. It's up to you to find space in your heart for love towards me in the same way that I have already created and filled the spaces in my heart for everyone to feel love. Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's simple, isn't it? How do we choose between love and fear in every moment? We allow, we accept, and we surrender to, because there is no need for anything else in the sense of worry. Love is all powerful, it creates. Love is the spark of creation. Yeah, it is that, that's love. Love creates. Misplaced love, misdirected love brings you fear. It's as simple as that. So in each moment, when you see someone doing something that's unloving towards yourself, why wouldn't you move away from that person? And as I say that, I'm instantly going to the idea of assess your position. Yes, that's probably the biggest thing. Be truthful with yourself, your position, your perspective, your thoughts. I feel like this. Let's take it from this. Let's the parallel. This is evident in every relationship. In every relationship between groups, between individuals, in families, it doesn't matter, it's all the same. Understand where you sit in your perspective. Understand the truths that are apparent in your awareness as you consider A, B, C or X, Y, Z. And in that instance, understand what's founded based on personal experience. And I say this thinking specifically to everyone that feels persecuted and abused, whether that's mental, physical, or emotional. Yes. Remember, abuse, mental, self, thought, okay, physical, self, other self, thought, and external projection. All right, so what we've got is abuse, it's mental. Mental abuse is of the self and it's based on your thought. So this is like self-harming. Why would you self-harm? I can't actually see any reason why you would self-harm unless you were full of fear and a complete lack of love for yourself. So you hold no value in yourself. Okay, we'll come back to that. Let's put a little note down here. Self-harm. We'll come back to that. Because self-harm is particularly sad and unfathomable in many ways. So, mental abuse, physical abuse. What about emotional abuse? Okay. Can you differentiate? Yeah, you can. How? Like this, watch. So, emotional abuse. Emotion, energy in motion. So emotional abuse is ultimately a combination of the two, isn't it? It's mental and it's physical, because there is movement in some way, action. It causes a response. You cause a response. Yeah? Emotional is based on self and other self. It's based on thought and projection. But we can eradicate all these with love. So, let's look at self-harm. A lot of people practice self-harm. I wouldn't think it was as much fun as practicing piano or practicing painting or practicing singing or practicing any other form of self-indulgence that you could conjure up and engage with. But again, it's down to choice. Self-harm is a choice. To me, if someone wants to self-harm and commit suicide, as sad as it is in the sense that you're witnessing, I'm witnessing, you're witnessing a self devoid of a sense of feeling and love towards self. It's particularly sad. But if you want to top yourself, commit suicide, jump off a cliff, do whatever, do it. Get on with it. It only affects you and your experience here, and if that's what you've come to do, then do it. I'm going to experience suicide. Boof, go and do it. Yeah. This isn't going to be a long one. Let's see how long I've been going. 12, 13, 22 minutes. Blimey O'Reilly. Okay. Excuse me. That's better out than in, said the actress to the bishop. Self-harm. Do you know love? So, children self-harm. Oh. You know, I'm very aware of people looking outside and saying, you know, why is this person self-harming? And ultimately, it's just a lack of acknowledgement of the fact you've failed to provide this person with love. And if you then accept that, surrender to it, and turn it around and just give the person love, make them feel love, allow them to feel love. So, do you know love? No. Find love within self. So in this sense, parents, friends, relatives, whatever, I don't care who it is, does not matter. The only thing that matters is you and your perception of self. And once you've got that under control, then you can experience and bathe yourself in the divine love that's apparent everywhere. So, find love within self. How do you do that? Well, the first thing that you do, find love within self, right? I would just come back to this truth, all right? This truth. This is the, to me, the single starting point of all truth. Because if there is only that, and then you get that, however many you are, yeah, all come from there. I mean, the simplicity of it is truly bonkers. So, just realising that, it's, well, how can I, all right, let's go to step 2. This is step 1, all right? Let's go to step 2. Everyone that you have a relationship with, let's think of sex. You have a relationship with a partner, you have sex, you do weird and wonderful things and you just love it and enjoy it and it feels great to be in the moment with someone that you love, hopefully, rather than just being an act of sex, you know, raw animal sex. It's what I call grunt sex. Yeah, it's the majority of men in the world just do grunt sex, don't appreciate the tenderness of the experience in love and how that magnifies the feeling of love in that moment. But, and that's something you can come as you move away from this macho bullshit nonsense. This, you know, every male that's out there that's a bully and an arsehole, you need to wake up to yourself. Bullies and arseholes, as I've said, it's like, well, you have that propensity for cowardice in your sense of behaviour. You know, it's rubbish. I don't get it. So, with you as well, look in the mirror. And when you look in the mirror, everyone, when you look in the mirror, understand that what you're seeing is a creation of a vessel to allow you to experience in the 3-dimensional space-time framework. That's all. So, from the one came the many, and the many, as the one, being aware of the many, then identify all the many as separate from me, because they're over there, there. So we've now engaged in the illusion fully. And if we pull it back from that, we can think, well, hold on a minute, let's go within for a second. And when we go within, we can begin to see the truth in the logic of source. When we accept that, then we can move forward with the idea that, well, if I'm God then I am loving, ultimately, because I can be nothing else. It's only the cloak of error through perceived experience that we embrace the notion of separation. Yeah? So, if we just consider for a moment that the person that we hate most in the world, or think that we hate most in the world, is diametrically opposed to our position of love. And yet, this distance here is created by this person holding on to that thought of separation, detachment, difference, vulnerability, persecution, all that sort of stuff, as in religion, different religions. On this planet, every world leader, every religious leader, you're all fuckwits in the nicest way, because you are fully immersed in the illusion of yourself as something you're not. The problem is that your refusal to let go of that perpetuates from the top down the bollocks. The bollocks. That's why in number 9 I said, Pope dude, Pope dude, Pope dude. Yeah? Being able to influence 1.5 billion people or something, you know? Whoever identifies in a Christian sense, remove the nonsense of Christ and allow them to base the truth of Christ mind consciousness, which is that gift of awareness from the big G, in the sense of self. I express myself as love so that I can, yeah, this is wonderful, this is loving, this is beautiful. Look at that which I create. See how it marvels and moves into more. Anyway, so what you choose to hold on to is what causes all the shit in your life. So I'm actually going to finish now. Not getting many views, not getting any comments. I like to think that I don't get many comments because people are taking it on board. And I suppose I'm not getting many people listening or joining because you're not ready yet, but you will be soon over the coming days and weeks and months. A lot of change is coming, and it's time for you to listen. So, I'll leave you with that thought. Remember, what you choose to engage in and identify as you are. If you identify as God, you'll be God and you'll be loving. God is not unloving. God can only be loving because God is love. So in this illusion, everyone is choosing to be separate through fear and ignorance. If you turn towards the notion of G and say, okay, right, G, let's engage, let's be together, show me the shit, let's do it, baby. And that's what you do. I don't see why it should be any different. It doesn't need to be any different, does it? No. Anyway. So I'm going to give you my sign. Here's my sign. There you go. That's my smiley face. It's not symmetrical, is it? It doesn't have to be. I'll do it again so it looks more symmetrical. I just like it, eh? Let's do it in red. Where's red? That's red. No, that doesn't. See, there's the bit at the top, like a pair of glasses. I mean, really, what we want to do is like a figure of 8. So we'll come down here like that. How's that? Anyway, peace be with you. I love you. I love myself. I love everything. I only want to talk about the big G. I only want to think about the big G. I only want to speak about the big G. And the love that comes from the big G. The love that we are expressed as the big G. That's my world. Wholeness. That's all it is in its entirety. I will speak to you again. Yes. Go in peace and blessings on all who listen.